Hello, welcome to Dun and Draws Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing a graphic novel from that collects a five-issue miniseries from 1988. This is Hawk and Dove, Ghosts and Demons, written by, I'm assuming, couple Barbara and Karl Kesel, with art by Rob Liefeld. I think I paid like 15 US, 17 Canadian, not too bad. This story is about the first time Hank Hall, which is Hawk, first met Dawn Granger, who is the second Dove. The first Dove was Dawn Hall, which is Hawk's brother. Which, if people don't know what Hawk and Dove was basically about two brothers. One who's like a dumb jock, angry all the time, and like the other one was cool, collective, and they had a special appearance on the Justice League cartoon where like Hawk was dubbed by Fred Savage from Boy Meets World and The Wizard, which I watched The Wizard recently. I thought it was a good movie. So because of the cartoon, I kind of had a thing for Hawk and Dove, though could never find comics with Dawn. And because of that, when the new 52 happened, I put on my pull list the Hawk and Dove series with Sterling Gates and Rob Liefeld. Don't remember if that series was any good. I think I have the first 7 issues, right? Don't remember if this is any good. So yeah, if those were any good. So yeah, the comic is about basically Hank Hall, after the death of his brother, which let's show some interior arts. Way better than modern day Rob Liefeld art. You gotta love those 80s comics. There's the villain, Kestrel. So what the comic book is about is basically Hank Hall's, after the death of his brother, went globetrotting around the world, eventually came back to America, started going to college in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. While that's happening, there's this villain called Kestrel, who's a psychopath, who's an agent of chaos, like Hawk, and wants to become Hawk's new partner, and is a psycho who goes around killing people. It has these goons that can turn into ravens, so like Hawk would fight these criminals and they would just magically disappear. And that is because they could turn into ravens, and they turn out to be, later on, they turn out to be demons. There's one of them there, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so like, while that's going on, a new Dove was chosen by the Lords of fucking Order or whatever, and they chose a girl, right? And you don't find out who she is. Well, they spoil it at the back, but like, if you read the new comics, you know who she is. But like, Hank doesn't figure it out till the end, right? Which it's this blonde girl, right? Yeah. So basically, what's going on? There she is, right? Dawn Granger and Hank Hall. Yeah. So. The book's about basically them becoming partners and finding the psycho Kestrel, who wants to make Hank his partner. So the book I should mention, at first Hank Hall hated Dove because, he thinks he can be a superhero on his own. They name drop the fact that he used to be a Teen Titan. Which I never knew that until recently when I read that Titans Hunt. I had no idea Hawk was part of the Teen Titans for a bit, which is funny. I guess he would have been a teenage superhero, right? So at first he hated Dawn Granger, aka Dove, because he thinks he can do it alone and doesn't like the fact, hey, this girl just thinks she can show up and be the new Dove, right? Which is his dead brother. So naturally, most people would probably be understanding for why Hawk would be, hesitant to letting this new girl, who knows everything about him, including his secret identity, which it turns out she just figured it out, right? She just figured it out. It wasn't like the Lords of Order or whoever told her about it. Which, one problem I have with the book is, like, near the climax of the book, they give you her origin story, right? Which I thought kind of ruined the flow. Apparently, her mother was a diplomat or whatever in London. There was some crazy event where the skies went red, and this made terrorists go crazy. Criminals go crazy, right? I think that was from an event from... Here's another shot of Kestrel. I think that had to do with Doom Patrol, because there was like... That Doom Patrol came out, like the Grant Morrison run, that came out around 88, and that had several arcs where the world was going to end. So I think that was tie into that, but they don't talk about that, right? Yeah, so I thought that ruined the flow, and I thought it was kind of weird because she turns into Dove by the Lords of Order to stop like terrorists from killing her mom, which they were gonna blow up this building that had her mom in it at like 9:11 p.m., which I thought was like, holy shit. Yeah, another. There's oh shit, what's that called? Washington Monument? No, Washington Monument. I forget. That's some famous DC building. I don't know I can't remember what it's called. Washington Monument, maybe? I don't remember. Yeah. Also, there's some cop characters in this comic book, right? Which Hawk is in bad terms with, but at the end they team up to take down the demons, where they fight the cops, and Hawk and Dove team up to take down demons, and like Hawk raids their like mobile armory so you can get guns to kill the demons, which that's very Rob Liefeld-esque if you ever read 90s Rob Liefeld books. Also, there's this villain called Shadowblade, who was just a punk that Dove and Hawk and Dove beat up, who was given powers, right? Where at first his powers were to throw like energy shuriken, and then just change it to energy blast, right? So this is like flipping for the book for you. I love the art, man. This is back when Rob Liefeld actually gave a shit. Because if you look at his art nowadays, it's so fucking weak, right? Also, one problem I have with this book is the inking is pretty bad. Like, they don't ink between the lines a lot of the time. Not, I mean, most of the time they do, but like, that's a cool cover. Very 90s. There's Shadowblade. Look at this art, man. Can you believe that's Rob Liefeld's art? Whatever. There's some pages where they don't ink between the lines and it looks pretty bad. It's hard to find a good example of a page where they did that, but that is a problem. Also, there's this thing where, like, Hawk, he has these group of friends in this book that just came to him, like, randomly. And he just joins this new circle of friends, they're always hanging out at, like, burger joints, which reminded me of, like, Archie. Right? If you ever read Archie, or, like, watch the Archie cartoon. And there's this Japanese girl who has a crush on Hank Hall, and for some reason he thinks she's Dove, and she's also like a journalist, right? at the college. So he doxes himself thinking she's Dove, and it turns out she wasn't. So I thought that was really dumb, but other than that. The characters are a little one-dimensional, but like if you're a fan of 80s comics and the action, a lot of action in this book. I don't know. I think this is a really cool book, and I would recommend it. Other like the problems I mentioned is they don't like ink between the lines at some point. The characters are a little one-dimensional. For people who find it like annoying when they replace characters with like superhero characters with like either women or whatever. Yeah, they do this in this book, but it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I didn't think it was too bad, but because like Dawn Granger's does get a little annoying because she acts like a know-it-all and like she's better than Hank Hall, but like Hank Hall is kind of a dummy, despite the fact that he learned like he was like a mercenary or something in Nicaragua and learned like guerrilla warfare techniques. He does come off like an idiot at times, so like he kind of needs somebody, a partner who's like smart, and like her powers are she can like she has like high perception, so she can notice things. Where like Hank is very like focus like he loses focus a lot, right? And she can sense like when people are pointing guns at her. Like yeah, it's a decent power. Like I can see that. Yeah, it's very geared towards leadership, right? Yeah. So. Yeah, I would say I would recommend this comic. It's 5 issues, which is a little light, but it's like 15 US, 17 Canadian. That's a good price point, I think, for 5-issue miniseries. But if I had to give this a rating, it's probably a 6.5. But I think it's worth checking out. And I love the Hawk and Dove costumes, though I'm not. I would very much love to read like Hawk and Dove when Dawn was part of the team, because I first was introduced to Hawk and Dove through the cartoon, which had like the Justice League cartoon, which had Dawn Hall as Dove, but it is what it is. So my next comic book review is going to be Atlas Marvel Boy the Uranian, which is a tie-in to the Agents of Atlas Marvel Comics, right? Which he's apparently like a long lost Silver Age / Golden Age character, so that's going to be fun to read. Also on August 6th, or is it August 6th? That's when the new Suicide Squad is coming out. I'm not going to see the movie yet. I have to figure out if if I don't know, I don't like going to movies by myself. So if any of my friends plan on going, I'm going to go. But like I don't even know if like movie theaters are open around here. I think they are. I have to double check. So maybe I'll review the new movie. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to review the Suicide Squad comics that I picked up on August 6th, which was the first 3 issues of the 2020 series, which I think is the current run. I don't even know if the comic is still ongoing. Also, there's this comic book that was supposed to come out today, which was this indie comic by like old Marvel writers, which was Roger Stearns and Ron Frenz, and with inks by Sal Buscema. They put out this indie comic called The Heroes Union #1, which is very reminiscent of Freedom Force, the 2004 video game. Or was it 2002? Yeah, it's this like computer RPG about like a World War II style superhero team with a very patriotic leader. So yeah, I was gonna review that, but like the comic hasn't come out yet. I guess they're delayed and nobody knows when it's coming out. But I talked with my comic book guy. He's gonna hold a copy for me. He ordered like 10 issues. So if the comic book ever comes out, I plan on reviewing it. All right. So yeah, that's it for this video. Also, I did an X-Men review. I'm gonna upload that later. All right, bye. X-Men the movie, like the 2000.